Thank you for joining us for this breaking news update on 24 Plus. I'm Yvonne Cooper. We bring you this breaking news from Canton, Mississippi on this Monday afternoon. Sheldon Timothy Herrington Jr. has entered a guilty plea of a lesser charge in second-degree murder and tampering in connection to the death of Jimmie Jay Lee. That tampering charge was actually added back in this plea deal and arrangement. He will be sentenced in Oxford starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. But this case really all unfolded in Oxford, Tennessee, in Oxford, Mississippi, not too long ago. What we can tell you right now is that Jimmie Jay Lee went missing in 2022. Jimmie Jay Lee was an Ole Miss student who actually went missing on his mother's birthday. She is the one that actually made that missing persons request to look for her son. Herrington Jr. was charged about 2 weeks later after Lee went missing, even though his body had not been found and investigators were still searching for him at that time. But a grand jury later indicted Herrington Jr. on capital murder charges in March of 2023. A judge ended up declaring Lee dead in October of 2023, and the first trial for Sheldon Timothy Herrington Jr. began in December of 2024. You may remember that trial ended with a hung jury and a mistrial. And Lee's body was eventually found just a few months later after that, back in February of 2025. His body was found, the remains of his body were found about 90 minutes south of Oxford, Mississippi. Again, we know now that Sheldon Timothy Herrington Jr. has entered a guilty plea to the lesser charge of second-degree murder and tampering in connection to Lee's death. Now, originally, this was supposed to be the first day of jury selection in this new retrial. But this plea came just a few moments ago, less than an hour ago, again from Canton, Mississippi. Again, Lee disappeared more than 3 years ago. His body was found several months ago, earlier this year. Here's a look at ABC 24's Leah Williams to give us a timeline of the key moments in this years-long case.
Justice for Jay Lee!
Ole Miss student Jimmie Jay Lee was last seen leaving his Oxford apartment in the early morning hours of July 8, 2022. Later that day, his mother reported him missing. It was her birthday, and she was worried because she couldn't reach him.
It was not a day that would go by that we would not communicate with each other.
Friends and family remained hopeful that Lee would return home.
It all started with Jay Lee missing. I think that everyone stayed pretty hopeful and optimistic.
Until Sheldon Timothy Herrington Jr. was arrested and charged with murder a few weeks later. Investigators believe Herrington and Lee had a sexual relationship. They say Lee went to visit Herrington the night he died.
When he's headed over, right before he gets there, just a mere minutes, Timothy searches how long does it take to strangle someone.
Despite the defense noting that Lee's body still had never been found in the August 2022 preliminary hearing.
0 DNA evidence, blood, urine, trace evidence whatsoever.
The case went to trial in December 2024. The trial ended in a hung jury and was declared a mistrial, but the case didn't end there.
How many more mornings we have to wake up and Jay's been missing?
In February 2025, Lee's remains were found in Carroll County, more than an hour south of Oxford.
The timing with the trial, being a mistrial and now Hunter's stumbling upon his remains, it's awful in all regards.
Then Herrington was charged again with capital murder. He was also charged with evidence tampering, which was dismissed by a judge in October. The Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office announced that Lee's cause of death could not be determined.
Again, in our breaking news coverage, Sheldon Timothy Herrington Jr. has taken a plea deal. He's entered a plea of guilty to the lesser charge of second-degree murder and tampering in connection to Jimmie Jay Lee's death. His sentencing will be at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning in Oxford, and ABC 24 will have a crew there to give you the latest updates as we have them both on air, online, and on social media. Stay with us for updates.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 24 Plus app everywhere you stream.